In 2014, more than 54 million households in Europe were struggling to heat and power their homes, with many living in damp and cold housing, rationing energy use and worrying about how to pay the next energy bill. Isabel lives alone and suffers from ME and other health issues. For Isabel, winter was a particularly difficult time of year.
Think if you're constantly cold and you're paying to be constantly cold, it's very demoralising and it's very all-encompassing because there's no insulation, so the heat just disappears in 5 seconds. I guess if I hadn't had the fuel bills, then I would have been able to do the house up more.
In the UK alone, around 4.5 million households were in this situation, which is often referred to as fuel poverty or energy poverty. By developing a new measurement tool for energy poverty, my work has brought the issue into the spotlight and has made a huge difference to how decision makers tackle the problem. My name is Dr Harriet Thomson, and my research looks at the concept of energy poverty across Europe, focusing on statistical indicators and indexes to measure the problem, as well as policy definitions and frameworks to reduce energy poverty rates. Gandhi, from the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, works on practical schemes to help fuel-poor households.
So in Greater Manchester, over 14% of our residents live in fuel poverty, which is quite a high statistic. We also have high figures around excess winter mortality. People like Harriet are doing a very valuable piece of work by raising the profile, raising the issues and the awareness of fuel poverty. And so by doing that, we can better understand what it is and how we can address it. And we have done so through a variety of schemes, including our last Greendale community scheme, where we assisted over 1,300 residents, predominantly fuel-poor residents, through measures such as external wall insulation and boiler replacements.
May is 86 and lives in the Oldham area. She has just had a new boiler installed last week. For people like May, schemes like this bring about immediate improvements to quality of life.
My old boiler is 30 years old, just like the house. It was a bit of a worry. Unfortunately, I have macular degeneration, which means that you can't always see everything. There it is, a nice cupboard, and it's all nice and new. So I can read the dials easier, and that makes life a bit easier as well. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the winter and less bills.
My PhD produced a new index of fuel poverty at the household level, which made evidence-based insights more accessible to decision makers. I also addressed the analytical gaps in policy and suggested areas where the EU had competence to play a greater role. I founded the EU Fuel Poverty Network, which is now a major resource used by members of the European Parliament. My research has influenced the development and framing of new EU policy approaches to fuel poverty and prompted a complete change in European Commission policy. For over a decade, the European Commission was opposed to tackling the issue, but since 2014 it has invested more than €1 million in defining and measuring the problem. In recent proposals for new legislation, the Commission has also called for Member States to direct energy efficiency support at energy-poor households. The ESRC funding was really important for allowing me to work full-time on my PhD research, which gave me the opportunity to work on impact activities alongside my PhD. My ongoing goal is to move energy poverty right to the top of the political agenda in all EU countries. By addressing the issue of energy poverty, we have the potential to bring about huge benefits to people's health, well-being, educational and financial outcomes, while also reducing public expenditure and boosting employment and industry.